Dear students of semester 5, today I am giving you the introduction of the famous novel The Guide written by R.K. Narayan. Let's start then. With the publication of The Guide in 1958, R.K. Narayan became a phenomenally popular Indian novelist writing in English. The book also found wide acceptance abroad, and Narayan was conferred the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award in 1960 for his contribution to Indian writing in English. It narrates the travels and tribulations of Raju, formerly a tourist guide who has just been released from prison and has taken refuge in an old temple by the river Sarju. Villain, a peasant, mistakes him for a priest and seeks his advice on a domestic problem. By uttering a few platitudes, Raju helps him to find a solution and soon acquires a reputation as a holy man. When a drought befalls in the district, the peasants turn to Raju for help and he reluctantly undertakes a fast to propitiate the rain gods. It is at this point that he confesses that he is an impostor and recounts to Villain the tragicomedy of his love for Rosie, the dancer, the rise and fall of his fortunes as guide, lover, and impresario. Now, the characterization of Narayan. R.K. Narayan, is renowned for his fiction, and the guide is characteristic of Narayan's fiction. It is the story of a middle class hero who has not even completed his schooling. Narayan traces his career from obscurity and ordinariness to prosperity and eminence, and then his downfall. Centered in and around Narayan's fictitious South Indian town of Malgudi, the guide is thoroughly Indian, not only in his characters but also in his theme, ideas, imagery, and sensibility. It depicts the little ironies of life and is a blend of comedy and seriousness. While there is a certain amount of social satire, there is no didactic aim or intention in the story of adultery. Next point is Raju's recollections. The poet moves on two planes, the past and the present. Raju recalls his past as he is firmly enthroned as a holy man in the dilapidated temple of Mempi Hills. His recollections begin with his early childhood and help us to understand the mental make-up and motivations of the protagonist who, like Rosie and Marco, is an accomplished artist in his own way. They are Raju's musings which later assume the form of confession to his acolyte villain. The crucial part of these recollections related to Rosie and Marco, who come to Malgudi. Marco is an archaeologist and his wife Rosie belongs to a family of temple dancers known as Devdashis. Both of them are totally absorbed in their own calling and are indifferent to each other. Raju is attracted to Rosie and she becomes his mistress. Marco disowns Rosie and she comes to live with Raju, who helps her to hone her talent for dancing, and Rosie, now known as Nolini, starts performing on stage. She is a great success, but Raju starts gambling and drinking with the money that she earns. When Marco sends her court papers to dispose of a box of jewelry, Raju forges her signature and lands himself in prison for 2 years. The narrative commences after Raju's release from jail. Raju must now begin life anew as he cannot go back to Rosie, who has strained every nerve to defend him in court, but who has no love lost for him now. She does not want to have anything to do with him now. Raju also cannot bring himself to return to Malgudi and start living there as an ex-convict. During his wanderings, he comes to an old, deserted temple to ponder over his future. He is mistaken for a holy man by the people of a nearby village and is forced to don the mantle of a saint and fast unto death where there is famine and drought in the region, because this is what his followers expect from him. Raju, the former railway guide, attains martyrdom as rain clouds are seen in the distant horizon on the 12th day of his fast. Now again the remarkable characterization. Next point is remarkable characterization. Raju, Rosie and Marco, all the three are remarkable characters. A host of other minor characters contribute to the tapestry of middle class life in Malgudi. Villain, Raju's parents, Gafur, Joseph and others. In Raju's character, we not only see the externals but also the working of his simple mind. Rosie is the essence of Indian womanhood. Her husband's indifference and callousness to her aspirations make her go astray, while Marco is a totally self-absorbed art historian with strong likes and dislikes. He is incapable of loving and caring for his wife, which breeds frustration and repression in Rosie. It doesn't appear at any time that Rosie really loves Raju. Raju is also attracted to her sexually. There does not appear to be an element of love in the relationship on his part. Raju brings Rosie within sight of her success as a classical dancer. He is only an instrument of realizing her aspirations for her. This is a new vocation for him, and Raju plays his new role with aplomb. His reluctance to be accepted as a holy man sees Raju in a new and challenging role, but Raju doesn't flinch. He swims along with the tide. Next point is fine craftsmanship. R.K. Narayan emerges as a fine craftsman in the structure of the guide. He skillfully blends the role of the traditional omniscient author approach with a personal one, where Raju is his own narrator. In unfolding Raju's stories, Narayan also dispenses with a conventional approach. He begins his narrative in medias res, in the middle, and then goes back to Raju's past through his recollections. In this, he uses a flashback technique so common in films but unusual for him as a novelist. The guide possesses perfect artistic unity, character, setting, story, symbol, style, all of them are functionally related to each other so as to create an artistic unity. The characters grow according to their own laws and not according to the novelist's. He is only suggesting the nature of his characters and the meaning of their acts and perhaps his own attitude towards them in relation to his vision of life. Raju's death, viewed symbolically, means that if the individual who loses his life for the sake of his fellow man, his death by water is no death but a means of purification and self-realization. It is a triumph of the traditional mode of living through natural and man-made catastrophes. Understood, students? Okay, then let it be this much today. If there is any confusion, any questions, do ask me on WhatsApp.